be strong.
Welcome back, guys. New episode, Big Phat podcast, powered by CrossFit Green, fueled by Sweat and Reset, supported by Phat Nutrition, Phat Barbell, and Phat Gymnastics. That is the first time I think I've gotten it right since the first episode.
Well done, Fergal.
Thanks, Dave.
You're the best boy.
Probably because I'm here.
But the pressure of Sorcha being beside me. We have the Kellys on, or David Kelly and Sorcha Polly, is your maiden name?
Yes.
Polly, yeah. We have
No, she's a Kelly. Depends on if she's working.
When
She's
it
a
suits
Polly.
me.
Yeah, when it suits her, she's a Kelly.
We have the two guys on today. I should have asked you before we started this, but anyway, they are the owners of CrossFit Green. You're both owners.
Yes.
What are your actual titles in regards to Shut It On More Limited? Are you both managing directors?
No, both directors. I'm the managing director and the company secretary.
Company secretary. We have Sorcha on with me and Dave today. We're going to have a quick chat about how we came to be CrossFit Green and the story as to how it all started. Right, so we'll take it all the way back to 2013. Sorcha told me this before we started, that they were stuck on a runway in Perth.
That's right.
What happened on the runway in Perth?
Were you in Perth or on the way home or on the way to
No,
Perth?
we were on our way to our friend's wedding. We were living
in Perth. All right, we're going to Perth from Sydney.
Yes, we just in case you don't remember, Dave, we lived in Sydney and we were going to Perth for our friend's wedding, and unfortunately we were delayed and on the runway for about 3 hours.
Come in close so we can hear you, Sorcha.
So we had already paid our affiliation fee the day before for CrossFit and we couldn't come up with a name. So I thought it would be, I like to get things done. I was like, look, we're sitting here. Why don't we just finalise a name?
Start brainstorming.
So
On runway.
we had been given permission to register as an affiliate. We just needed to come up with an affiliate name.
So just to clarify, this is December 2013.
Correct.
This is 10 months before you've even even opened, so you don't have a facility. You're not even in the country yet.
Absolutely.
You're still on the other side of the world.
Other side of the world.
Okay. Continue.
So
You're brainstorming on a runway in Perth.
yeah.
I was coming up with some crucial names. I'm telling you, they were game changing. Like I had CrossFit Project Active, and Sorcha was like looking at me going, "Shut up! Like that's the most awful name." And she was just banging through names like left, right, and centre. This, and I was like, "You're stressing me out."
So we ended up coming up with, well, sorry, if I can take kudos
Yes.
for it, CrossFit Green, because there's actually a lot of psychology around colour, and green is the balance between health and well-being, and we thought about the overall brand of what we were trying to create. So
Yeah.
CrossFit Green,
So
actually
real
just-
hardcore level 1 stuff, health and wellness.
Never mind the fact that we couldn't get over that no one in Ireland had come up with CrossFit Green before.
as we were flabbergasted at the time.
Had they brought in that rule back then that you couldn't name it after a place?
No, you could name it after a place,
Okay.
but they were getting more technical. So like we'd looked at CrossFit South Dublin, but then we thought as a brand that's very location based brand.
Yeah.
And then obviously Sorcha came up with CrossFit Green. We're like, that's deadly great. And then there's also like there's only a handful of colours you can really kind of get away with. Like CrossFit Orange doesn't really sound or roll off the tongue. CrossFit Black was already set up in Sydney. There's a CrossFit White somewhere. There's a CrossFit Red. There's a CrossFit Red something. CrossFit Green something. But there was no CrossFit Green. And as soon as they got back saying yes, that's open. Do you want it? We're like, yeah, absolutely.
Take it straight away.
So that's when you have to pay your affiliation fee, is once you pick your name. But like we knew we were coming home.
Mm-hmm.
Had you the house sorted by then?
Yeah, we ended up home on the 19th of December 2013. So yeah, the house was nearly finished. Anyway, yeah, we were ready to rock and roll. We knew we were coming home. This was the plan. It was just location then.
When you came home from Oz, then did you go stay with your parents, or what did you do?
We had about
Yeah.
2 weeks with my parents and then moved into our house.
Yeah,
That's not bad.
we actually were already home that September for another friend's wedding and had signed for the house, and then work was being done to it, but it would have been ready for Christmas. And then we stayed with Larry and Peggy for 2 weeks.
Just the start of the new year, was it?
Yeah.
Actually after, so we actually didn't move in to the 17th of January 2014, and actually funny enough a year later Levi was born. So yeah,
Busy year.
Busy year. I had a question there that was in my mind. We were talking. I can't remember what it was. God, So you opened the thing, you came home, you had the house. How long did it take you to find the... Sorry, that's what I wanted. Green. So you just thought of the green thing from... You did psychology in college, was it?
Yes, I've got a degree in psychology. I'm actually studying a master's at the minute in psychology as well, but there is a lot of psychology around colours. If anybody's of interest, you should look it up.
And green is associated with health and wellness, is it?
Yeah, and it's like that balance. It's a very balanced colour, so I thought it was good. And then obviously Ireland green, there's a lot of things you can tie in with that as well.
So that's right. I actually never knew that until now. With the CrossFit Green thing, were you just like, oh, I don't want to be another colour?
No, I loved it straight away.
Tell you green and explain it to you.
Well, she was coming up with names, and I was like, yeah, that's actually brilliant. And she explained the psychology, but also then green in Ireland, like how like it's very relatable.
Yeah.
So then when we came home, this, that, and that, we'd looked at several locations. I'd looked at like a 20,000 square foot, and I was like, yeah. And I was like, no, can't afford that. And then actually where the Aldi is across the road, we were in last talks with a place around there, and then that fell through. And then this used to be a furniture shop, and I actually drove by one day. I just kept driving around the industrial estate looking for places. I'd been on to everybody.
Did you have your heart set on this specific industrial estate?
Yeah. Well, yeah, Sandyford was the goal. Just in terms of the catchment, we'd done our research on the catchment area, our local knowledge of the area, just certain things that we thought were important in terms of transport as well.
Yeah.
And then one day I saw that this was, I think they were the closing down sale. And I was like, right, went in, knocked on the door, why are you closing down, blah, 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 blish, bash, bang. And then so ended up subleasing it and then assigning the lease over to ourselves a couple of months later. So, yeah, that's 7-8 years ago now.
7? It'd be 6 and a bit years ago, yeah?
Yeah, it'll be 7 years this June.
So the official opening was September 2014.
September 1st. Yes.
September 1st.
Yeah.
So when did you have the lease sorted?
Probably June, was it?
Yeah, we moved in June.
Yeah.
We did this sublease, and then there was issues with sublease, and then the landlord was like, whoa, what's going on? Because we subleased it, and the previous tenant, I don't think, and the landlord got on very well. So once we had to then explain ourselves and what we were doing, and then we needed permission for the change of use for the facility and all that sort of stuff. And he was a bit hesitant because he had a bad experience with the last tenant.
It's understandable, and he's...
Yeah, which is understandable because he previously rented it to the spirit groups and stuff like store, great tenants and whatnot, but anyway, bad experience. But once we came on board and we ran through certain things with him and dealt with him, he was happy out. And then he actually asked, would we take the assignment of the lease and move it into our name? Not even, just straight away, just get it done. Or get rid of the sublease and ask for an assignment. So we did that. The other people had moved up to Donegal, so there was solicitors and lawyers and all involved, and there's a pain in the backside, especially when you're trying to open everything. And first year was very like panic because you're not used to it.
So on top of that as well, you came back. How long did you obviously you're back in January. When did you start working? Did you organise a job while you're in Sydney?
Yes, I had been interviewing, so I started a new job in March.
You started in
March 2015. So we had another wedding in Dubai. We came
March
home
2015. And then you had a wedding.
Sorry, apologies. March 2014.
You had a wedding. And then you came home, and then you were pregnant with Levi as of April.
Yes.
So you were just 2 weeks into the new job.
A month or so anyway. I found out I was pregnant on my birthday, the 2nd of May, and then Levi was born in January, which was
And if you've been around Dave for long enough, you know he wears stress on his body. I can imagine what he was like when he was going around looking for somewhere.
Hold on, what do you mean? I wear stress.
You just don't manage stress well, Dave.
I don't do stress.
You can tell when you're stressed.
I very rarely do stress. And when I do,
But you've forked out money for an affiliate fee. You can't find... You're having trouble finding a location. And then your wife just turns around to tell you when you're unable to open your business that she's pregnant.
Yeah.
No, listen, it's part of life.
Like in hindsight now it worked out really well.
But it was a really busy year. Put it like that. It was a really busy year. And I remember the day Levi was born, I had to leave the hospital in the morning to let the guys from Prodigy Barbell in. To do a lifting session on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
And I remember like Andy, Hickey and Claire and Sammy and all were here. And they're like, you're right? And I was like, I'm knackered. They're like, why? I was like, just had a baby about 5 hours ago. They're like, what the hell are you doing here? I was like, listen, I promise. I had to get out of the hospital anyway at that stage. So yeah,
it was funny when I went into labour with Levi, I was having labour pains at home and David was up in the gym teaching, And
I wasn't finished till 6. So I was like, hold on.
I think Orna was here at the time, and David was like, Sorcha, do you actually think that this is it? Like, are you, like, you know, seriously? I was like, David, my contractions are 3 minutes apart. Like, you need to get up. Oh, I'm going to have to get Orna to cover for me. I was like, well, sorry about that, but I need you to drive me to the hospital.
I did have time for a sandwich when I went home.
Yeah, he did.
I did. Also, in the middle of labour, I was starving, so I had to nip out and go to Burger King around on Lower Bagot Street, I think it was.
Wait, when she was in the hospital?
She was in the hospital. I was ravenous.
Didn't you have an Eddie Rocket yesterday for your birthday?
I did, yes.
Yeah, belated happy birthday, Dave. Happy birthday.
Belated happy birthday, yeah.
34 again.
Yeah, right, 37.
Still not a master's at me, yeah?
No, I am, yeah. 37 years of age, still going strong in the intermediate average category.
Well, there's nothing wrong with being
nothing wrong with
average
that.
category. So June you got into the facility, is it? How long were you allowed? How long did you have to wait for you could actually come in and start making changes to the actual?
No, we got the keys on June, so like by like April, May, we started talking to them and happy out, and we did the bits and pieces. Anyway, we got the keys on start of June. I think it was like June 3rd or 4th.
Yeah.
So June 3rd or 4th, we had ordered gear and ordered that stuff. That took ages to go, and like floor, rig, all that kind of stuff. So we ended up actually opening with half the floor was carpet, which is still there. And there was 50 mats in,
dig it up.
as Jane says, I love mats. There was 50 mats in the middle of the floor. We opened day 1, September 1st. And I just said, screw it, we're opening that date.
You had no staff at this point, so it was just you and Larry doing everything. By the way, Larry's Dave's dad.
Well, yeah, just actually my mum painted.
You were obviously working.
I was working.
My mum painted. Well, some people might remember the old gym. My mum helped paint everything. We had like green timbers and green paint everywhere. And
Do you remember the old wall
ball target and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, me and myself, my dad helped like put the gym together.
Was it like Larry that put it together and you just did what you were told?
No, I'm quite handy at that stuff. So I've got man skills, Fergal. You do not.
I don't require man skills.
Yeah.
I'll just get Dave to do it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, now we've put it together. We've always done a lot of the handyman stuff in here ourselves.
Yeah.
We really enjoy it, and we're good at it. So it's once you can. But yeah, it's all different now at this stage. No, we won't do most of the handyman work because it's all the electrics. We've changed up all the electrics and all the plumbing. Like everything's fixed and done new now. So
when did you hire your first staff member?
Pretty much straight away. We hired Craig within a couple of weeks. I always knew that.
Craig Clark, is it?
Craig, yeah. I always knew that if we wanted to be successful, and plus with me having a young one on the way, and just the way we wanted to develop the business and grow the business, I knew we weren't going to be
you'd need cover.
A cover, but also I also wanted to make sure that anyone who was coming in was going to get the best experience, and a burnt out coach doesn't provide the best experience. True. So having a diverse coaching staff, so it was Craig, Orna, Mark, were the first 3, and they were around for about a year, and then Keno's been here since 2015, so pretty much he's been here since the start.
Well, I was here before him, but whatever. Like,
I think you were a member before that, were you?
And Sonia was here before me then.
And Sonia was one of the. Yeah, Sonia was a member. She was late on her first day, so she didn't come in. Right, and then she rearranged to come in like on the Friday or something, and she parked out in the curb on the road. And then when she went to drive off, she got the front 2 wheels like stuck, so that the undercarriage of her bonnet was on the curb.
And it was just rocking.
Yeah, she was like going nowhere. So we were going out. She was all decked head to toe with the nails and the Nike. Typical. I'm stuck. Get me out of here. So yeah, anyway, we got her out of here. And yeah, so we've had a lot of long-term people. We've had, I was only going through the list. We've several 5-year plus members. We've way more 4-year plus, loads of 3-year plus. So we've got quite a big cohort of long-term people who have been here through all the changes of multiple rig locations, multiple floor plans, the AstroTurf, for those who remember, which is now in the storage area, underneath the boxes and the bikes. That used to be 15 metres long, and it was over the...
We had it on both sides, didn't we?
Yeah, well, we've had it.
It
was in the middle. It was on one side. It was underneath the rig. It's been everywhere at this stage.
And you used to take your bike to work. David didn't have a car when I was driving Peggy's little Peugeot. David, you had to cycle
to work. I had a BMX
at 6 o'clock in the morning, like every day. It was crazy.
I used to cycle my BMX, which Nigel and the lads got me for my birthday, for my 30th birthday, and I used to get up and cycle here and cycle. I used to cycle everywhere. And before I had a gym, like I used to train in what was CrossFit Dublin down in Blackrock. I used to cycle my BMX down there.
When you came home originally?
Yeah.
So September you open. You're 5 months pregnant at this stage. and just after starting a couple of months into a new job.
Yep.
And on top of that, you open up a gym in an area where you, not that you have no context, but you're kind of coming in. You started CrossFit in Australia.
Yeah, so I had no contacts in terms of
like
CrossFit.
Initial members, like.
No, so I'm not from too far from here, so I had loads of local knowledge of the area, of what kind of to expect and things like that. So I had a big reach in terms of that. But then I think our first member was
Ricky
Mack, who was a member for a while. He's a restaurant in Ranelagh, Mac Delicious. I only had it last week. He came in day one. Then my friend Ross joined, I think 2 days later, and then Big Owen O'Kane, Sexy Joe, those guys.
Owen Keane or Owen O'Kane?
Who was here first? No, Owen Kane.
I think it was.
Owen Kane was here first, not Owen O'Kane.
Curly Owen.
Yeah,
was here first.
Big tall handsome.
Owen Keane.
Owen Keane. Was
Owen
here
and
first.
Hazel Keane.
Yeah, Owen was here first.
Yeah.
Or was it Owen O'Kane? Yeah. Anyway, it was Big Tall Owen was here first.
Owen Keane.
Yeah, he was here first.
Then Pete was one.
Pete's been here
Jill,
for. Yeah,
her
there was
husband.
loads of them.
Yeah.
So like, listen, that they just kept kind of coming in. Like at that stage, there was 2 CrossFits in the area. No, 3. But like we had pretty good setup and a pretty nice layout and things like that, and people were looking for something new. So listen, it went relatively well. Like
that's good.
Yeah.
And then so by the time January comes around, you have Mark, Craig, and Orna, and then bam,
baby,
and a Burger King.
Baby and a Burger King. And so it's gas because he's been pretty much raised in and around here. A lot of people know him at this stage, but some wonders for his confidence and being born and raised in a gym. Like he's a proper rat boy. Like he's just like, I'm into everything, I don't care about getting dirty, or like he falls over and everyone's like, other parents are like and he just gets himself up and he's like, gosh, not bleeding, good,
it's a win.
On he goes. Yeah, it's a win.
How long did you wait? So actually, by the time the gym had opened, you had never even done a CrossFit class in here.
Oh no, I trained the whole way up. I was pregnant. We were doing at
we were
the
doing
time
bits and pieces in here, like
at the time. When we were doing bits and pieces, and the class, even after I trained, we had the 10:30 class, which is usually hugely popular. So I kept up my training right the way through. When we trained at Black
all
Rock,
the way up until you were due.
I did the open, everything. So it never stopped. I was back in the gym after 2 or 3 weeks after a C-section, and Dave and Orny used to go and get coffees, and they'd be gone for 45 minutes, and they used to put me on the Aerodyne bike, and they'd be like, if your time is not better than the last time, you'll start again. That was my warm-up. They were so mean, but it was great. So I just found training the whole time I was pregnant, it made my pregnancy so much easier, and I was able to recover so much better from it. Like the day after I had a C-section, like, and people were coming in to see me, they were like, do you not need to lie down? I was walking the halls with Levi. I felt great, like I really did feel great, and I was home after 6 days, and like I really did feel really well.
Yeah,
like,
you got the doctor to sign you off, and you were back to driving within 3 weeks and everything.
Another factor you might
not
know.
that you're an overachieving son of a bitch, but anyone who knows, right?
So wait as well, something, sorry, I really forgot to mention, I always have to mention this because we're running out of time as well. Is it true that you went to the Olympics in 2008 on Team GB as a swimmer?
Yeah, so I was trialing for at the time. Yeah,
were you will then?
No.
That was,
I met you in 2008.
It was all downhill from there then, sort of. Huh?
Yeah, 2008. Yeah, that's where we met. So this was before that. This was Athens. This was Athens, 2000 and.
Should I go to the Aquadome and then in Beijing?
Yeah, but that wasn't 2008.
It was Beijing 2008.
Oh no, the trials. I thought you were talking about. No,
so
I didn't.
She was on the UK and she did all the trials.
But I didn't go to.
She didn't go.
To Beijing. But yeah, so yeah. Interesting times.
What we'll finish off with, Sorch, is if you could do a podcast with Matt Fraser or Rich Froney, who'd you pick?
Definitely Matt.
Why?
Soft swap for Matt. Well, Chris and Heidi, who a lot of the people in the gym know already, they've kind of talked to me in detail about the two characters, so I kind of feel like I know them. Maybe next time when we can travel again to the States. But Matt is apparently more of a sweetheart, so I'm thinking I'm more edging towards Matt.
I'll stick with Rich.
I'll stick with Rich. Guys, that's it for this week. Thank you very much for listening. Of course, like, comment, and subscribe on the YouTube channel, and give it a share as well if you want. 2, 1. Yay!
Be strong.